Yeah. Yeah. I know they mad for no reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Gotta move fast for a reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Oh, 700K, I'm selling a Bitcoin. Haters mad, but they listen to this one. More profit coming to my direction. Yeah, you know me, I don't need a mention. I got the remedy, ooh, yeah. They don't just follow me, ooh, yeah. You say allegedly, ooh, yeah. You would subscribe to me, ooh, yeah. Staring at chart, drawing a line. Make a decision, you out of time. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. See on stage. OnChain revolution.
Welcome back to the 8th episode of Artura Live Trader's Edge, guys. This is absolutely amazing series that we've been putting on for you to learn about trading. Perp dexes have been all the rage this year, going back, all the way from Hyperliquid start into the crazy days of Aster, and now Artura is live on Botonics. Artura, these guys are building something truly special, in my opinion. And on Botonics, if you use it over there, they're doing the biggest Bitcoin giveaway ever. And they have some plans for some other stuff as well. But the Trader's Edge is really just for you guys to learn, for you guys to ask questions, for you guys to be a part of the show. We put in trades last week, and we're going to be going over them. Just so you know, everyone who went short, spoiler alert, got liquidated. But everyone who went long made $1 billion. So it's been really good. Today in the markets, though, we are seeing Bitcoin have a little bit of retrace yesterday. Yesterday, we just see an all-time high. But how do you trade this, right? How do you trade an all-time high? How do you trade a buy the dip opportunity here? Do you buy the dip here? Does it go lower? Murray is going to walk us through exactly what to do and on the time frame to do it. So really excited today's show. So without further ado, bring in my partner here as always, Mr. Yago B. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up, man? Trading these markets must be impossible. It's you just don't know from day to day. But Mary, you might know.
Yeah, well, I look forward to the Tuesdays, honestly, because I do a lot of the high level. Where is price gonna, where's the magnet gonna take Bitcoin, right? And during the summer it was pretty easy. Bitcoin was pretty thriving. Bitcoin and Ethereum heading up into September, and obviously September was what it was, right? And now it's kind of, you get that feeling of the summer back, but then you just kind of get a steep correction. Well, I say steep. 6,000 is a pretty steep correction, I think. But I think we'll get some insight from Marion on how to look at this. Is this just a healthy kind of pullback? Who's taking profit? And what should we expect, right, in this October for Bitcoin to kind of get into the middle of the month? And I'm still bullish, but maybe that's just me being positive, and we'll hear from Marion to see maybe what he thinks here.
Yeah, 100%. We did run from 113 to 126, right? So having to pull back to 121 doesn't seem that bad. But we'll see. We'll see how low can we go. But without further ado, let's bring up the team. Let's bring up Instant, Murray, and an X. Guys, welcome back to Artura Live, Trader's Edge.
Hey, yo.
GM.
What's up?
All right, man. It's been a crazy week. Let's just jump right into the trades last week, and we'll kind of go over them one by one. I'll show my screen first here. On the trades last week, we did have X. He went with the 25X along, and he is the only one who basically didn't lose money here. He is up about 30. I think it's like $28. There we go. He is up $28.93, up a lot more yesterday when I saw that. And then I got liquidated. And then right here, it does look like Instant. You are on the verge of getting liquidated as well.
It's that lower leverage. Did not clock me out yet.
You were smart by going down 15. I went 25 and got obliterated right away too. It was like 2 days later. So that sucked. But what do you got from the other side?
Yeah, so on the other side, yours truly is the only survivor here. I did go long, and I believe who was the other one? Ace, I think maybe he went short. Was he on last week or somebody? Okay. Yeah, so up about $28 here, but I did have honestly I did have a feeling that we were going to thrust up because it was the start of the month going into that week. But with that being said, I kind of want to hurry up and close this out because it looks like it might be a little dangerous here shortly. So I guess I'll do that. Let me close that out. So what was the final P&L on your side? Like the
$28.70 for
so technically that trade wins because my trade is $28.50. So, but nevertheless, can't be sad whenever it's green, right?
No, not at all. So what did we learn? So with me getting liquidated was I was bearish last week at 113, and that was probably where to be the bottom that at, you know what I mean? So it was one of those things where I was short-term bearish when I probably should have been short-term bullish for sure.
Yeah, I mean, my perspective was we were heading into October, and I didn't expect it right on October 1st, but October 1st was kind of like the nail was hit on the head to where it kind of reversed energy, right? So it was that Wednesday, it was the day after that we did these trades, and I expected to be down, and then maybe at the end of the week kind of recuperate on Friday and then Sunday, but it was it really kind of started to be a bit aggressive to the upside. I'm curious, Marian, I think you got into a short. Did you expect Bitcoin to stay in that range and then maybe get a little bit more bullish in the second week of October? What was your thought process?
So my thought process was that we are going to see the new all-time highs in October, and that's what happened. But I was expecting a monthly candle to do like accumulation, manipulation, and distribution candles. So firstly going lower when the monthly candle opens, and then the seeking the close at the all-time highs. But we went the other side around, so we'll see how it goes from here.
Yeah, and I'm curious as well with the Zutada. Zutada, you said, from your perspective, your trading strategy, you really look at those option dates of when the contracts expire, and so you feel like the start of October was more of October 6th. So that would be yesterday, right? The Monday. And so are things playing out the way you expected, considering yesterday was really the start of October for your trading style?
Technically, as of right now, yeah, but I'm getting indications on a reversal. I need to wait on like how this week plays out and a couple daily closes. But like I said from last week, I did expect a push up rather than down. Since it was the start of the month, I was expecting for the top of the wick to be put in rather than a bottom, in my personal opinion. But yeah.
Gotcha. So you were expecting a little bit more continuation for the aggressive upside that started kind of at the second half of last week. But is that what your expectation was?
Yeah, because like I said, OPEX is every third Friday of the month. So usually once all the options expire and OPEX came in negative, so there was more puts than calls. Price tanked down 7 to 8% historically, as it usually does. So we tanked 8%, which formed us a bottom at 108.5K. And once we formed that bottom there, and we didn't take out those equal lows at 107. At 107K, we have two lows there. I just knew that price wanted to push us higher just based off of structure, and we were saving that low, and we're just engineering another liquidity. So when we make that aggressive move to the downside, it'll be a stronger move to go to the downside and probably target the 90K ranges, 80K ranges or something. Depending on what price wants to do. I personally doubt it gets to the 80K ranges. I'd want to be a little bit more optimistic, and if we go lowest, it'd be 98K, create a new low, then up. But as of right now, I doubt we even get that low. My low that I'm targeting, just a little bit long term before the year ends, is 107K, since that's the official low that got put in for Q3, like I stated last week. So, yeah, that's an important level for us to hold. If we don't hold that level and develop a new level there, then we're going lower aggressively.
Interesting. So calling that area to where support really needs to sustain and kick in is 107. If this first, we gotta say if the sell down continues, because I don't even want to go there right now. That takes me to a dark place mentally. Instant from a kind of high level, obviously you're learning more about trading and stuff like that, so you're a little bit newer to the game in terms of that aspect. Are you happy with kind of what you saw with this rise up and then a correction today? It's kind of like almost expected.
Yeah, I mean, I think I always love, as a bag holder, I always love when Bitcoin goes up, and so I can't complain about that, and I shouldn't be counting out Bitcoin to rise to the occasion at some random moments. But yeah, I mean, I think overall it's good. I mean, as like a builder in the space, I think like it going up is always good. And as like a perp dex, lots of people are taking longs out. So yeah, I mean, I don't think I have like any problems with it. Even like if the correction's coming, I mean, I'm staying optimistic. There's like so many opportunities in the space. And Bitcoin seems to be leading the charge.
Yeah, 100%. I guess the real question is, what comes next, right? What do we prepare for going forward? Marian, I was wondering if you can kind of dig into that for us a little bit. What should we be expecting in the next, 3 to 4 days?
Yeah, so market only does two things. It offers fair value or seeks liquidity. So we seek the all-time highs. Now we should offer the fair value. And currently we are inside of the daily FEGs. So if we are going to go higher, we should offer fair value right here at those FEGs on the daily time frame and start going upwards if we get the confirmation. So that's the way to move forward. If it fails to create fair value and to push out of it, we should seek the lows that created those fair value gaps. So that means much, much lower, below 110K, but I'm not hoping for that. I just hope that we rebalance those imbalances and just move up from here.
Could you explain what that means a little bit? Rebalance the imbalances.
Yeah, so the imbalance is just the FEG, so just price stepping into the FEG and moving out of it. Just a fancy word, rebalancing imbalance.
Gotcha. And FEGs, for anyone who doesn't know?
Yeah, FEG is a 3-drive pattern. Is basically just a gap in price where smart money is included. So that's where the price was not fairly distributed. So we need to get into it and to offer the fair value to all the buyers or sellers, depending on which side of the market are we in.
Gotcha. So according to that, you're saying that we could go higher, right? Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
Yeah, we are currently in the daily FEGs, but they're not getting respected so far now. But we got some of them a bit lower, but we'll see. I think maybe we can just consolidate if we don't see the V-shape reversals out of here.
Gotcha. So some consolidation right now, maybe a day or two. Do you think maybe some sideways between like 121 and 123?
Yeah, because we got like a pretty huge strength previous few days, so we'll see. Maybe the price calms down a bit.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking, because we did hit an all-time high, and it was one that was, with Bitcoin, whenever an all-time high is hit to where it's literally $1,000 higher than the previous all-time highs, to me, I see a little bit of weakness there because it doesn't have that confirmation of being, showing the conviction of actually continuation, right? And so that today actually is a little disappointing in my opinion, because we hit 126 yesterday, right? So, for us to have that follow-up conviction, in my opinion, we get to try to go towards 130, but it also depends on how long this continuation of the sell down happens, right? So if you look at the 4-hour chart, I'm going to bring it up right here. You can see, and we've kind of played with this area, by the way. This is the third time. If you look right here, it wicked up to 123, 400. The second time it wicked to like 124. So not a really confident new all-time high, right? And then it does just to really do that again, because it gets to 125, 126 here with this like aggressive pullback so far that we've seen on every single attempt. Actually, you see the candles. This is the 4-hour chart, by the way. So the 4-hour candles following those wick ups like are pretty consistent here. And same thing happened here. Now there was multiple stabs at it here. You can see 1, 2, 3 wicks within was it the Thursday the 2nd to the 6th. So 3 wicks within a 4-day period, right? So I think it's going to be really important to see how Bitcoin reacts at this point, because so far it doesn't look good, in my opinion. If you see this consistent downtrend. Now, that is from someone that doesn't get super deep into, fair value gaps and all these things that like Murrian just said. So Murrian, based off of what I just broke down, what could I do to kind of get further confirmation in my thesis that like what we're seeing right now doesn't look good?
Yeah, so just follow the order flow, because it will tell you the story. The problem with BTC, with the all-time high is just hitting like 1K up from the previous one, what you said, is the problem that we didn't hard close above the previous all-time highs. We didn't disrespect that level. We just swept that level. And yesterday, we just swept the previous day high. And you can like easily spot what will the next candle do, because when we get the sweep of the candle, order flow in that week is showing that we're going lower. So basically, you just watch the respect or disrespect on the candles, on the levels, and you determine where the price will go.
Gotcha. Could you see a scenario where Q4 just doesn't give us too much in terms of uptrend?
I hope not.
But do you feel like that's actually like a real possibility?
For now, no. I'll just follow the chart, yeah. But for now, there is like one bearish argument so far, so
Gotcha.
need more time, like, yeah, for price action to be created, to start thinking about those best scenarios.
Gotcha.
Yeah, 100%. With Bitcoin hitting all-time high yesterday and kind of getting smacked down, we're seeing a lot of volatility, right? More volatility than we normally see. Bitcoin doesn't really travel, up, $10,000 in a couple days, and then now down $5,000 since the all-time high. How do you trade this stuff with the volatility just being so crazy, or maybe do you stay out of this when volatility is this strong?
Yeah, so all the assets, when they are trading around the all-time highs, you should not short them. You should just wait for it to retrace to some support level and try to long that. That's the key idea to trading on the all-time highs on the all assets. That's the current play game on the indices as well, ES and NQ. Gold as well. Gold is in insane bull run, and it's not even giving that retracements to the support levels.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that makes complete sense, right? Because if you do have that same thesis that Q4, like I have this entire year, is the year that liquidity events start to happen, then you look at these as opportunities. And I know that it could be hard, especially with the up and down year that we've had, but across the board too, right? So, like for example, BNB, if it were to retrace, $150 to $200, that's probably a great opportunity because it's shown strength throughout the entire time. But if you have that thesis that this quarter is the quarter, we still have ETF approvals, we still have, the weird thing is no one's talking about rate cuts anymore because it's expected, so that's not going to positively affect the price, right? So it's like, what is going to be that thing? And I think sometimes it's just number go up in liquidity being poured into the markets.
Exactly that. If you look at the total chart as well, like you were hitting the all-time highs, I think. Let me check. Yeah, we were hitting the all-time highs. Now we are retracing a bit, but you can see the liquidity is getting in.
And you're talking about total 3, and that's without Bitcoin and Ethereum and
No, I'm looking at
correct?
basic total, but I think all totals, like total
Gotcha.
2 as well, each of them are at the all-time highs.
Makes sense. All right. So this past week we've seen something pretty crazy happen. I've never seen DeFiLlama come out and delist a platform like they delisted Aster. So what happened was, DeFiLlama, which is the #1 place where you can go and do a lot of research, do your research on a lot of different projects and stuff like that. And this kind of came out yesterday. NGMI, who's one of the leaders over at DeFiLlama, says Aster's perpetual volumes almost perfectly correlated with Binance's 1-to-1. Impossible without data mirroring. DeFiLlama flagged the integrity concerns and will keep Aster delisted until it provides order-level trade data to verify authenticity. This is something me and Yago, we've been checking a lot. We're checking DeFiLlama and be like, this is insane. Aster's like $40 billion over Hyperliquid on a daily basis. Is this something that you guys maybe saw in instant or kind of looking at? I know you guys really take a look at what's going on and really understand the process, but like they were way ahead in every category, but it turns out it was just Binance dark pools.
Yeah, I mean that's the allegations from Twitter. I mean, like I'm not gonna just say like it is or isn't, but I mean that's that's the argument put forth. I mean, which does track. I mean, obviously, like Aster is, another perp dex. They're really focusing on like, they have dark pools, they're a little bit more, they're like hidden, or I guess, a lot less transparent of a perp dex than, for Artura, for instance, or even like Hyperliquid for that matter. So I mean, I've been following it. It's really interesting seeing like people crawl out like, the perp dex wars that are coming on. I think, Shill and Villain, was like backing Aster and like, saying a lot of things on the timeline about how DeFiLlama is like centralized, and somebody else said like he was getting Dune, or he was like, using the analytics from DeFiLlama essentially. So I don't know. I mean, we built Artura to be like, decentralized, transparent. We're not trying to be a sex. So it's kind of interesting to see, this like the perp dex, I guess, like kind of being devalued, I guess, with sort of this like lack of transparency from Aster.
Yeah, 100%. And some of the rumors now are going around saying that, Binance could be trying to come fully on chain and using Aster primarily as the leading area of trading. So if when you do a trade on their app, right, you're going to be doing it through Aster. Is that something you guys that wasn't on my bingo card? was that something that you guys potentially saw, building a perp dex?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what Binance's plan is. It seems kind of strange, to be honest. I don't know. And it's also just like, why wouldn't you just use like use like trade perps on like a centralized exchange at that point? Like, why go through like the hassle of like creating a dex to kind of do this? So I don't know like what exactly is like the end goal here, outside of just like kind of like a little bit of a differentiation from like a traditional perp dex like Artura Hyperliquid versus like the strategy that Aster is going with. I think it's kind of yet to be seen. I'm a little skeptical of it, and not just because like they're somewhat competitors in the space, but just because it feels like it's a little bit outside the ethos of kind of like a lot of the products that we're trying to build, and the whole like decentralization factor of kind of the industry that we're in. I don't know. I'm side-eyeing it a little bit.
Yeah, I actually like thought about this a little bit too. So the only thing I got from potentially coming fully on chain is, obviously you want to compete with Hyperliquid. The main reason people went to Hyperliquid was there's no KYC, right? It's on chain. There's no like, you're not worried about getting like things happening in the back end and your trades getting smashed because everything's on chain. And then you have something like Binance, for instance, and them bringing Aster on. Now they can still control it because they'll have most of the Aster tokens. Potentially they can come into the market and buy them after the airdrop, and then they can basically say, hey, we don't do KYC because it's decentralized, even though they own 51% of the tokens and could technically make it go the way they want to go.
Yeah, I mean, that's potentially a play there. I don't know. I think like I don't know. I think like it's just moving like a little bit too far away from like sort of the ethos that I sent. I don't know. I feel like at that point, like why not just use? I guess like there's some KYC arguments to be said. But I don't know. It feels like there's like better alternatives then if like that's like such a concern. Like why not just go on Hyperliquid then? Like I guess you have access to the liquidity through Binance, but I don't know. It seems just a little suspicious.
I'm gonna give my take, and it's probably off the wall here, but I feel like CZ, he looks, as much as it might not seem like it, I think he looks to crypto Twitter's kind of like nod of approval a little bit. Like he was locked up for a bit. He was kind of away from Binance's team, and it's like he likes to be like communicating within crypto Twitter, it seems like, and he probably noticed like Hyperliquid being talked about a lot, right? So what do? You put a giant in the market and just kind of show the strength there, flex that muscle. And it was, by the way, it was about 70 billion more at some points, right? You're looking at 80 billion in daily volume versus 10 billion being in that second place. But to kind of pivot a little bit here, still about perps dexes. We talked to a couple people in the space. Jeff from OnChain, the founder, he mentioned that he kind of sees like large chains and most chains that have any marketing power and stuff having a perp dex associated with them. Is there any kind of I guess thought process with the strategy business kind of BD strategy of Artura of maybe like linking up with a chain and being kind of known as like the main perp dex for that chain, or even like a centralized exchange or something?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the playbook of a lot of not just perp dexes, but like a lot of dApps in general. Typically they start on one chain and then become well integrated into that ecosystem, and then once they mature a little bit more, they'll start branching out to seeking new opportunities and et cetera, et cetera. So I mean, I think like right now, yeah, it just seems to be like every kind of new chain launching like kind of has to have like a perp dex as its staple. People love to trade and people love leverage. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Go.
All right. So let's kind of get into the next big thing. So with Binance and everything, they have the BNB token, which is the Binance Smart Chain token, and it has been something that has been absolutely on a rampage right now. I was wondering, X man, have you been paying attention to the amazing growth of BNB coin itself?
Not really, to be honest. I mean, I see it and I pay attention to it, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's all altcoins to me. I just focus on BTC, E, Sol, because I came from meme coins and stuff, but BNB doesn't really do much to me, to be honest. Especially with CZ, I don't know. Him going to prison and stuff like that, like just me coming from like a risk management side and even my investments with stocks and stuff like that, I look heavily into the CEOs and who they are and why did they go to prison and what other operations did they run before. It's just kind of fishy to me, and I don't trust this coin, especially with Binance in general, with having their dark pools and their market makers and how they, tank the market, which they did. When we dropped all the way down to 108K, it was mainly Binance selling super heavy. So there's just something weird about that. But yeah, that's just my take on BNB. I don't really like it. It can go up infinitely. I can care less.
I love how the filtering or the screening process of the CEOs is why they went to jail. I definitely would be including that in mine as well. But so I think that's a popular thought process and perspective of the West of maybe even BNB, because you and I even like we'll sit there and we'll just be like amazed like how much BNB has moved, right? Or like it's hitting all-time high after all-time high. So I almost wonder if that's going to be something that the West starts to pay more attention to. We know that they are for their ecosystem, but I mean, if you look at that chart, because when you ask Zutada if basically if he trades it, he said no, he's not really interested in that. But he did list Bitcoin, Ethereum, the big two, and then he listed Solana, and I feel like BNB is a very similar kind of asymmetrical opportunity as that Solana is, right? But because it's so heavily kind of talked about and promoted in the East and not so much in the West, and we almost kind of have this pre-painted picture of CZ due to facts like he did go to jail and stuff like that. That might be why, but who knows, man? In the future, the difference is do some of these DATs, these digital asset treasuries from NASDAQ, some of these companies come out of NASDAQ, some of these companies come out of the stock market. Do they start to believe in BNB? And if they do, does that add confidence to it? Marian, do you look at these type of tokens like BNB? It's a blue chip. Do you look at that? Have you taken the opportunity to get in something like that, or what's your perspective on it?
I was not looking at it. Yeah, I didn't love that coin, but now it's getting traction. Everything that CZ touches is just flying. So I think right now you need to adapt, because crypto is like fast moving stuff and you need to adapt constantly. And I think you need to be in BNB trenches for a bit for now, because the volume is there. On Solana, there is no runners. There's nothing. On like BNB, there is everything right now. The volume, the narratives, the everything. CZ is interacting and shilling the memes. The numbers are going up. Cake is also printing on fees. CZ also listed Cake on Aster, I think. And Aster as well is printing on the fees. So the math is there.
It's like the ultimate flywheel, right?
Yeah.
It's like Aster runs on BNB. Then you list Pancake Swap, which is their #1 DEX on BNB, and you're able to buy it on Aster. It's just one of those things where it's crazy to be just like in the markets every day and just watching this, because it's something that, like, I mean, you go back to, let's just say 2022, when this thing hit $200 from an all-time high of 600, and then just went on this rampage that nobody was talking about this, especially March of 2024 till today, where you're up from 600 to 1200, 100%. The only thing that has ran like that is Bitcoin. It's like the only altcoin that has actually run and actually outpaced Bitcoin. Is that something that you're surprised about?
Yeah, this is a proper run. Look at all these other altcoins. Some of them are like at the all-time lows. They're gonna be wrecked. Like, you need to be really, really careful about choosing the right altcoins.
Yeah. But if you go back, though, something that Zutada said was, and I actually agree with him, because there's a strong correlation to Bitcoin and Ethereum that gets sent to Wintermute from a specific centralized exchange that a lot of us know about, right? So Binance has that connection there. But imagine selling down Bitcoin as it's rising up and hitting new all-time highs and new all-time highs, kind of restricting it at times, chokeholding it, and not allowing it to really spring off. Obviously, couldn't be stopped the entire way. We got to 126. And then their token is having the cycle of its life, right? You know what I mean? That's kind of weird, right? It's outperforming a lot of these other alts, but at the end of the day, we can't help. We're not gonna be able to, help the situation if we don't like that, or if we do. So you got to play the opportunity, I think, right? So now the question is BNB has it gone up too high? Also, another question we actually had on our live stream was, does this liquidity pump and stealing from Solana for the BSC chain, does that continue? Because it's only October 7th. And my answer to Shizzy was, if we have a Q4 that we think we're going to have, then it does continue, because we're just starting in October. What do you think, Marian?
We are just starting, yeah. I don't think that BNB season will last like a lot long, but you need to just get the most out of the opportunity. For now, the focus is there, but we'll see how it goes from there. I think the liquidity will go back to Solana at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also, I want to
100%.
add something.
Good.
My bad. He's right about that too, because everyone knows CZ if you're in the crypto community and stuff like that. So he's consistently building hype. That's why people are still there. But not only that, we saw it multiple times and times again when Solana was slow and XRP was making new all-time highs. People were making meme coins and launching coins on XRP, and they were also launching it on Tron as well too. I think that's what it's called, and just other chains as well too. So I just like.
Yeah, 100%. It just seems like, there's always an upward trend somewhere. You just got to find it, and people do find it, and then and win huge off that. So I 100% agree there. So I guess my next question would be, obviously, we're seeing BNB kind of lead this bull market, right? But we also actually saw it lead the last bull market. So before anything really started taking off, I remember watching BNB and just being blown away back then when I first got into crypto. I got into crypto probably like August of 2020. So watching BNB and just being kind of completely blown away by its movement, and then you saw these giant candles come in, the early months of the next month. Could BNB be leading this again? Could we be potentially front running Ethereum here and kind of letting basically the last cycle kind of repeat itself again?
I don't. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Marian.
I never thought about that, to be honest. I was never looking at that.
Yeah, because like it did lead it. It's almost doing exactly what it did last time,
Yeah.
right? Right before, like just as February. So it basically was one of the leaders. I don't know. It kind of like it looks like history's repeating again.
It could be. So did the Ethereum pump prior to that or after the retracement, previous bull?
So
of
I
the
think
BNB?
I'm pretty sure. So I think this started, the upward momentum started in December, January, and I think Ethereum started right after that. Yeah, so Ethereum started really pushing up, yeah, about the same time frame, December, January. So they kind of moved together, but this time it looks like BNB is just kind of doing its own thing.
Leading.
You can argue though, because ETH has been running as well.
Yeah, ETH has been running. The difference is that BNB keeps hitting new all-time high after new all-time high, right?
Yeah.
And Ethereum was just really just massacred the first 4 months of this year. Completely oversold. If you look at the chart too, manipulated in my opinion. Maybe Binance had a lot to do with that too. Who knows? But the fact that support came in. Support as in Tom Lee from Bitmine, and you have Joe Lubin from SharpLink, right? Those guys started coming in from the institutional level, which was the reason why Bitcoin started pumping early in the first place. And then you got support for Ethereum from those two, which really helped it and expedited that catch up starting in April, right? But again, we did hit one all-time high for Ethereum, but it was weak in my opinion. If you think about it, right, it's very weak. I think it hit like 5,000 or something. So we need to see something pretty aggressive, in my opinion, for Ethereum, which I do think we get. But right now we're in this weird, like murky area. And I say weird because yesterday was, everything was great, and then today it drops $6,000, and it just feels a little doomy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do agree with that, with Ethereum run as well. It was pretty weak, and it still is. We need to get like some proper displacements on it and follow throughs.
Yeah, man, 100%. Instant. Coming from the Artura area, what are you thinking in the market? Are you still very bullish on October? And how are you guys and like at Artura doing? How's everything in the back end?
Yeah, I think we're looking at a pretty bullish Q4. We have some big things planned. I think a lot of actually builders in the space have some big things planned as well. I think this summer, even on past shows, we've talked about there's a lot of people kind of waiting to pull the trigger, and I think now it's just getting started. So the whole Aster, Plasma, how many other people are kind of hinting at airdrops or launching things. Yeah, that was all kind of in the background, and now the rumors are starting to fly. Things are starting to move, and so I think this paints to be a pretty bullish Q4, maybe outside of some of the other predictions. But from a builder's perspective, we're excited. We have a lot of things planned, and I know a lot of other people do as well.
Yeah, amazing. You guys being one of the #1 dApps over on Botonics, we did notice Botonics kind of pushed back a little bit. A lot of their stuff, they're kind of tuning down the marketing a little bit, and they're kind of just heads down building. Is that kind of the vibe for the Botonics team?
Yeah, I think they're obviously have like their Bitcoin STBC, their Bitcoin yields system that they're really pushing forward. So I think they're heads down building on that. And we're launched on there a couple months ago on mainnet, and so I think it's time. We're maturing as well, and we're looking to try to make some big moves here. That are maybe unexpected, but we think it's going to be really bullish.
Love it. I think it's always good to catch the market off guard, right? And so can't wait to hear that announcement. But my question for you, Instant, is hearing from other builders that we partner with other builders. We talk to them all the time. It's our job, right? We interview them. They say the ones that had experience from previous cycles, one of the things that they're saying is that like this cycle has been one of the hardest to really forecast in terms of to be ready, have your protocol ready, expect liquidity events, these type of things. Have you guys noticed that as a team? It's been really kind of hard to forecast when, liquidity cycles come in and out of certain ecosystems or just in general?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's the general sentiment of like kind of everybody right now. I think it's been hard to kind of make predictions. I guess for us and in terms of like timing things. But I don't know. Sometimes I think like, if you can't like time anything like, or if it's difficult to time things, like, the best time would be now. So just like to do things and, to launch and you can always adapt and improve and, you never know when like another wave is going to come through that just so happens to be like, the wave of what you're building. So yeah, I think it's been interesting. I wouldn't say it's like difficult, but it does seem like every new week almost there's like something new that has to be like that is catching on. And even like a few times there seems like there's like, are we approaching a bear? Is the bull run over? And then all of a sudden like things kind of turn around. There's so many ups and downs. And yeah, I think it's maybe just like, what's going to show you is that like, the #1 trait, I guess, maybe for like, this cycle or the next upcoming cycles potentially is like just to be adaptable and flexible.
Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head, especially the part where you said that you were talking about how I think you said something about like how the market, not knowing what to expect in terms of week to week and the basically getting caught off guard, right? And so that's the biggest thing is just being adaptable. And that's what it was. You said if there was a time to kind of not be sure of yourself, then it's probably this quarter, because like this is the big show at this point. Everybody's talked about Q4, so this is the time to pretty much shove in, and that's my opinion as well. And other builders are also agreeing with that. So
yeah, it is interesting. It does, I think Q4 seems to be like when everything like starts really rolling out on the builder side. I think I don't know what it is exactly, but it's been like I've been around for like a few cycles at this point. Like Q4 is always like a big event, and especially like kind of coming in from like a good bull market too. Like I think people are still like showing out and ready to see like where we go next. And someone's trying to lead the charge, whether that's CZ and Binance or some of these other protocols that are building.
Yeah, man, 100%. And with the market the way it is, right? Every single time we've like, if you go back to 2021, every single time we went forward after coming off like new all-time high, went down. It was pretty drastic, right? So every single time we went up, we did come down drastically for about a week or two before we really blasted off. And they're kind of seeing that right here, right? We really came back down again. So it is looking like potentially we could see a blast off. I mean, just kind of looking at this right here, very similar to potentially even here. So it does look like things could get better very quickly, because it does look like the retrace to the retracement point. But that's just me, what I'm saying. So really excited for this cycle coming. But it's been an absolutely amazing show. We have 335 people in here right now. Appreciate every single one of you guys. But would love to give you guys a stage one last time. We'll start with X. Any last words, buddy?
Not too much. Just be careful. That's it. Since we're at all-time highs, don't force anything. Just wait for confirmation.
Love it, love it. And what do you think for next week? Do you think we're above the all-time high of 126 or below it?
That's a good one. I mean, it all depends how this week goes for me, like I said, on a time manner. But as of right now, just me looking at it, I'm not too optimistic too much. I think we do go a bit lower, like Marion said, and fill in those fair values since we're disrespecting the bullish fair value gaps and imbalances towards the upside to push price higher. We're going to go for all the other ones that are lower because at the end of the day, it's imbalances and that's where orders are. And that's how the market moves. It seeks liquidity and it seeks fair value and those imbalances to fill those orders for price to get pushed up or down in whichever direction they're going for. So as of right now, I think we may be a bit lower, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. I can definitely see that they're going that way as well. Marion, same question to you. Are we above or below 26? And we'd love your final words.
Yeah, I think we are below, but don't short this because we are in a bull market. So just wait for the confirmations to the upside. Don't get fried.
All right. And any last words?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Oh, is it my turn? Look out, look for disruptors in the space. Perp dexes are hot right now. Artura, we're trying to do something different. It's a little different from Aster or Hyperliquid. And we're going to be rolling out some utility announcements and maybe some cross-chain integrations, some more exciting features. So yeah, just be on the lookout. I think the disruptors in this industry or in this Q4 are going to be making a breakout.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Perp dexes have been the biggest disruptor so far, especially to the central exchange mafia, and I think that does continue. 100%. Appreciate it. And Yagobi, any last words, man?
Yeah, I think it was key what Marion said about don't short this market right now because it is Q4. Even if it does look a little, doom and gloom right now, I'm in the camp that I think that we just go through a little sideways for the next couple days and maybe playing into the weekend, and I think we pick back up next week. But that's just me. I'll always be careful though. You always should be careful, especially leverage and stuff like that. You can either be your tool or it can hurt you. You got to be smart with that, right? And that's the point of the show. But yeah, I'm still excited. We're in Q4 and I don't think anything has really started yet, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, 100%. And like I watch a lot of the stock shows and stuff, and they say the same thing. They always say, you do not short a bull run, you do not long a bear market, right? So it's one of those things where just be patient, study the markets, keep watching shows like this, and until next Tuesday.
Peace.